Hello and welcome to another episode. I am Brian, the Unskilled Commander. Alright, another matchup for Arietta, Vehicles, Card Draw, and Tessakarlov. So I didn't mention it the last couple games, but we have ourselves set up 3.0. Hopefully the last upgrade I'm going to do for quite a long time, a couple of years hopefully. But we no longer have the fisheye lens, which is great. I have, hopefully, which should be a better, more consistent audio setup. Unfortunately, between the last game and this game, the Magic Companion app had an update, and now you can't see it as well. So it's like one step forward, two steps back. The new setup is cool if I was playing with friends, because now it's easier to get the commander damage and hit a button for mana. If you have like, oh, I'm making 5 red mana and 7 green mana, you can do things to do it. You can do your commander attacks and stuff. That's great and all, but by putting that on the screen, it shrinks the life totals, and I don't think you can really see them anymore. So it's almost to the point where I might as well just go back to using dice like I did the first 30 episodes, where you're not going to see it, and it's just extremely frustrating because I'm trying to give you guys the best quality episodes I can with the best quality visuals and everything, and then I have to go. I mean, now, yes, I know I can probably look into other apps that do life totals, but it's just annoying. I had that when it was fine, it worked great, now it's not. But whatever, let's keep things positive, shall we, I guess? No, we are going to keep things positive. It's fine, we'll work around it, I'll look into other apps later. I rolled the dice, and Arietta is going to go first. So we're going to draw, play a swamp for turn, draw over here. Yeah, we'll play Halimar Depths, comes in tapped. When it enters, you can look at the top 3 cards of your library and put them back in any order. Yeah, we'll do that, I guess, and pass turn. How's everyone doing out there? I hope you're having a better day than I am. Not because of the life total, that's just like another little straw in the lineup. It just wasn't the best day. I'm okay, things are okay, but just wasn't great. Draw for turn, we'll play a Mirrored Landscape, comes in tapped, and pass. Draw over here, plains, and pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. A plains over here, but no 2-drops, so we'll pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Play an island. No 2-drops here, pass. Racing around to tape. Untap, upkeep, draw. Swamp for turn. No important 2-drops or anything, pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Swamp for turn. Hey, I got something. I'm going to tap a swamp for a Vampire Neonate. A 0/3. I can pay 2 and tap it. Each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. We'll pass turn. Oops. How did that get face up? Oh, that should have been in my hand, I think. Right, because I was only playing a land, so nothing. It was staying at the 7 cards. So I should draw for turn, play a plains, and then we will tap all 3 to play a Bonder's Ornament, get something out of my hand, and then we will pass. Untap, upkeep, draw over here. We'll play Urza's Mine, tapping all 3 to play Raider's Carve. A 4/4. Whenever Raider's Carve attacks, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it on the battlefield tapped. So that's some really good deck thinning, mana buffing type stuff. We're going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. I will play plains over here, tapping 3 to play Pilgrim's Eye. When it enters the battlefield, search for a basic land, reveal it, and put it in your hand, then shuffle. I will go ahead and reveal a island, and then pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. Another swamp for turn. We'll tap all 3 for the background Agent of the Iron Throne. Commander creatures you own have whenever an artifact or creature you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life. Setting up for the commanders on a lot of these turns, so that's good. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn over here. We'll play a Rogue's Passage, and I will go ahead and tap 3 mana to play Arietta of the Charmed Apple. She's a 2/4. Each creature that's enchanted by an aura I control can't attack me or planeswalkers I control. And at the beginning of my end step, each opponent loses X life, and I gain X life, where X is the number of auras I control. Obviously, this deck is built around the concept of throwing auras onto all of my opponent's creatures, and also a couple auras onto Arietta to buff her up for commander damage, ideally locking down the board so I can swing in. Because if I were to just throw a positive aura onto my opponent's creatures, like something that says +1/+1 or something, they can't attack me, but they can still block. Whereas this deck is designed to throw down all of the things like Arrest and Pacifism. That means targeted creature can't attack or block, so then that way I can swing in with Arietta. I do have 2 mana open, but no 2-drops, so we'll pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Play Seat of the Snod. Seat of the Cyanod. Taps for a blue, and it's an artifact land. I'm going to go ahead and tap all 4 to play the commander over here. Katsumasa the Animator, a 3/3 with flying, and it says if I pay 3 mana until end of turn, target non-creature artifact I control becomes an artifact creature and gains flying, which is really important. If it's not a vehicle, it has a base power and toughness of 1/1. And at the beginning of my upkeep, I put a +1/+1 counter on up to 3 target non-creature artifacts. Tossing the old dice on there, the extra life dice, to make sure I remember the upkeep trigger, and we will pass. Well, wait a second, sorry. No, I guess the smart thing is to go ahead and tap Katsumasa to crew Raider's Carve, because while he does have Summoning Sickness, tapping for crewing doesn't count Summoning Sickness. You can still tap a creature that just came in. So now it's a 4/4. However, everyone does have blockers, but no one can kill it. So I guess I don't like what you're setting up over there. So we'll swing at you. A 4/4 at you. You could block with your 0/3. I guess we'll just take it. It's early in the game. When it attacks, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land, put it on the battlefield. It is. So that's excellent ramp. Onto the battlefield it goes. But we are open right now, so we will pass. Untippy-tappy over here, upkeep, draw. I will play that island we found, and go ahead and tap 1, 2, 3, 4 to play the commander over here. They are all 4-drop commanders, well, except for Arietta, she was a 3, so it makes sense that they're all coming in on turn 4. So we've got Quasar, Augur of Agonies, or Quiznos as I like to call him. It's a 3/4. Whenever I draw a card, target opponent loses 1 life and I gain 1 life. We have a 1/1 flyer, we could attack. Feels a little dumb. A 4/4 was different, but a 1/1, I think we're going to hold that back for just blocking. We'll go ahead and pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Play another Plains, keeping things balanced, tapping all 4 for Tessa Karlov. Look at that, turn 4 and all of the commanders are out. She is a 2/4. If a creature dying causes a triggered ability of a permanent I control to trigger, it triggers an additional time. And creature tokens have the eye control, vigilance, and lifelink. As I've said in the prior ones, I don't really have too many creature token generators in this deck. It's something to consider for future upgrades, maybe go in that vein, but Tessa does pretty well, built off of what I had, but it doesn't sustain it, so it will definitely need upgrades. I don't know that the token is the way to go upgrade-wise, though. I think better creatures that have death triggers, better permanents that have effects off of a creature dying is probably the way to go, to really make her faster and buff her up. Again, I can't really do anything right now, so I will pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. I will play Temple of the False Gods, which is online because I have 5 or more lands. Now for the fun. 1, 2, and a white to play Thalia Heretic Cathar, a 3/2 with first strike. Creatures and non-basic lands your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. That's going to be extremely difficult for me to remember around the board, but we definitely need to try. I have 4 mana left open. Now the problem with this particular matchup that we found is that that is no longer a creature. As soon as the turn ends, it stops being a creature. So they're all about card draw, so they're not going to have too many creatures. And their creatures are small, they're all about death triggers. So locking down any of these creatures really isn't, because they're not going to be a lot of attacking. Which is, there's attacking coming from here, but they're going to be only creatures for a very small window, and we don't have instant enchantments. So we, as in this character. So it's going to be difficult for Arietta to really... I keep calling her Arietta, and there's no A at the end of her name, so whatever. But then I call him Quiznos, so screw it, I'm calling her Arietta. I think we'll work on just setting things up for the future. So we got 1, 2, 3 to play the enchantment Flaming Fist. Commander creatures I own have, whenever this creature attacks, it gains double strike until end of turn, which is really good for commander damage. But I don't want to send her swing in just yet. We're going to go ahead and pass. Untap, upkeep trigger. This is going to get a counter. And technically I could put it on the Seat of the Synod, because that is an artifact, but I'm not going to waste it on a land. Then I will draw for turn. Cool. I will play Urza's Power Plant. 2 of the 3. That's nice. We haven't seen all 3 of them come out in any of these games yet. 1, 2, 3 to play Mighty Servant of Luco. It's a 6/6 with trample and ward. Discard a card. So if someone wants to target it with something, they need to discard a card in addition to whatever other costs the spell is. When Mighty Servant becomes crewed for the first time each turn, if it was crewed by exactly 2 creatures, it gains whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw 2 cards. Cool, but it's tricky because you have to crew it with exactly 2 creatures. Okay. So using affinity for artifacts, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to play Thoughtcast. Draw 2 cards. Okay, a couple lands, but at least that gets us past them. So I could crew Raider's Carve again, and it is now a 5/5 that I can send somewhere. So the good news is nobody can stack block it to kill it except for Arietta. So I'm going to tap the crew the Carve, and I'm going to send it somewhere, but where? I think we're going to send it at you, just because early game there's no reason to just keep attacking one person when they're not any kind of major threat. If someone was starting to pull ahead right now, then of course you go after them, but right now it's just about keeping the game fun and spreading things out so that everyone can have a chance to play and enjoy it. I will chump block with the 1/1. However, on attack there was the attack trigger, so we look at the top card. It is not a land, so it goes back to the top of the library, and we go ahead and pass turn. So now once again, we are completely open there. So we're going to untap, upkeep, draw. I draw a card, so you're going to take a damage, and I'm going to gain a life. Going to play Glacial Floodplain, comes in tapped. I think I'm going to go ahead and tap 2 and sacrifice Mirrored Landscape to get 2 islands on the battlefield tapped. I have 1 black mana up. Can't really do anything with that. It's a bit of a, slowdown, but the mana ramp is going to help long term. Gonna go ahead and pass. Untap, upkeep, draw over here, play a swamp for turn. Gonna go ahead and tap all 5, play Junji, the Midnight Sky, Flying Menace 5/5, so that's pretty badass right there. When Junji, the Midnight Sky, dies, however, you get to choose one. Each opponent discards 2 cards and loses 2 life, or put target non-dragon creature card from your graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, you lose 2 life. But the 5/5 Flying Menace right there is pretty awesome. I don't even need to worry about it dying, really. Again, no way to really attack just yet. We're going to go ahead and pass turn. I appreciate you watching the channel and checking out the video. If you made it this far, I hope you consider subscribing. Check out some of my other videos, throw some likes around maybe. Check out my comedy skits called Unskilled Skits. They're worth a chuckle and a smile. I, put some effort into those and I'm really proud of most of them. Also, I've got some small form videos like High Octane, Deck Break It Down, things like that. I think you'll enjoy the channel. So over here, we're going to go ahead and untap, upkeep, draw, play a Plains for turn. See? Creature comes in tapped. You know what? Shoot. Urza's Power Plant would have come in tapped. But that's okay, I had 1 extra mana, so at least we got that. That wasn't an actual creature, so that wouldn't come in tapped. The Glacial Floodplains comes in tapped anyway, so we're okay there. Alright, I think we're caught up. I knew I would forget that, but hopefully we can remember going forward. You know what? We're going to try it. Why not? It's why it's in the deck, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, geez, 7. I didn't realize it was all the mana. Approach of the Second Sun. If this spell was cast from your hand, and you've cast another spell named Approach of the Second Sun this game, you win the game. Otherwise, put Approach of the Second Sun into its owner's library 7th from the top, and you gain 7 life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this takes the place of number 7. There you go. Now I gotta try to remember that and not do anything that makes me shuffle my deck. Again, I do have double strike. Oh, but you're completely open. So yeah, we will move to combat. Flaming Fists gives the commander double strike, so we're gonna go ahead and damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. I do like the new setup. It does make it easier to get into commander damage and stuff. I just don't know why they couldn't have, and I understand that it's because they're now showing player 1, player 2, 3, 4, but I just feel they could have adjusted that a little bit more and made the numbers bigger. Hopefully there'll be enough people saying such and they'll figure out a way to make them big, because it's there's plenty of space around there. They could absolutely make those numbers much bigger, make leave the division within the code for plus and minus, but just, those pluses and minuses are small anyway. I don't know why they left them so small, those numbers. It just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and pass turn. So we'll untap, upkeep trigger, put a counter on each of these, draw for turn. Ruins of Oran Reef, but hey, it comes in tapped anyway. You're not as clever as you think you are, Mr. Bond. I think I will go ahead and tap. We have enough to actually crew both vehicles without tapping Katsuma's, which would mean we'd have 3 attacking creatures if we wanted to go at someone pretty hard. And if we do that, they also gain flying. So we could actually hit all 3 onto someone who just played Approach of the Second Sun and gained 7 life. So yeah, we're going to tap 3 to turn that into a creature and tap 3 to turn that into a creature. Best part is that it just says pay a blue and 2 others and activate the ability. You don't have to tap the animator or anything. So as long as you have the mana, you can do it as many times as you want. And then we will move to combat, and it also gives them flying. So then we will go ahead and swing all 3 of them at you. It does not get its ability, so we don't draw cards, but we will do this. It's not a land. It goes back into the top of the deck. So that's 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Nice. That was a big solid hit. However, we of course are open again, but we're going to pass turn. Now, as I've said, I've discovered that the majority of my decks, all of my decks really, are weak on card draw. That's going to be a project over the summer, is upgrading every single deck with better card draw and more of it. So getting to the Approach of the Second Sun isn't going to be that easy. It's going to be 7 turns if I don't get any card draw, and I don't know how much is really in there. Probably not much. I do believe Approach of the Second Sun is in this deck specifically because it's a literal card draw deck, so it should work and should be easier to get to once it comes up. So we're going to untap, upkeep, draw. I have no lands to play, unfortunately. Oh, I draw, so I will ping you for 1 and I will gain 1. Why wouldn't I, right? 1 black and blue, and then 2 more to play Notion Thief. Now it does have flash, I could wait, whatever, and it's going to come in tapped. But Notion Thief is a 3/1. If an opponent would draw a card except the first one of their turn, instead that player skips that draw and I draw a card. So now even if you do play card draw to get Approach of the Second Sun faster, it's not going to work. I'll draw instead. 2 mana left. I'm going to tap 1, tap a blue for Preordain. Scry 2, then draw a card. You know what? I'm going to leave those both there. You're going to take a damage and I'm going to gain a life. Pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. No lands. 1, 2, 3 to play Blister Grub. A 2/2 with Swamp Walk. If it's put into the graveyard from the battlefield, each opponent loses 2 life. Then I will tap a black and 1 other to play Doomed Dissenter, a 1/1. When it dies, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. They do both come in tapped, of course. Now, unlike some of the other games, we don't have any kind of sack outlet to start destroying creatures to get the double effect, so she's not doing as well as she has in the past 2 games. So we're going to move to combat. We do have a 5/5 Flying Menace, though. I'm tempted to swing at you, because that's a lot of damage in the air, and you can just keep doing it. You don't even have to worry about playing anything else if you don't really want to. So I'm going to go ahead and swing a 5 at you. That's all we can do. We'll pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn, play a plains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, to bestow Celestial Archon on top of Arietta. It's a 4/4. It is a 4/4 creature if you just cast it for its normal cost. Bestow cost, though, it becomes an aura spell, and you enchant the creature, and it becomes a creature again if it's not attached to a creature. So that's kind of cool. It doesn't die, it just drops to the battlefield as a creature. But now Arietta has flying and first strike and gets +4/+4. So that's pretty awesome, especially since she now has double strike. And you are wide open, so that was a mistake on your part. 2 mana left, but I don't have anything to cast for that, so we're going to move to combat. And yeah, you just smacked me for a crap ton, so coming back at you. 6 damage, but it's going to be 12. You are at 16 commander damage. 1 more hit, so obviously you're going to have to leave Katsumasa up next time. Now we're going to move to our end step. Hey, we finally have an aura, so each opponent loses 1 life, and I'm going to gain 1 life. Pass turn. Untap, upkeep triggers, putting those on there. Draw for turn. Obviously we're going to have to. Tapping 4 to Capture Sphere. Enchanted creature. When Capture Sphere enters the battlefield, tap target creature. It doesn't need to, it's already tapped. It no longer untaps during its controller's untap step. So we are now safe from commander damage. I will play Temple of the False Gods for land. It's going to come in tapped, however, and I have 3 mana left. So we might as well. Tapping 3 to crew Mighty Servant. Tapping Katsuma to crew Raider's card. Swing them both at you. On attack, it is a land, so it goes on the battlefield, and it's a basic, so it doesn't tap. Now we're going to have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 damage. Wow. Well, we're both 17. That's pretty interesting. But we are wide open, so if anybody else wants to come swinging in to try and KO us, that's not a bad idea, because like we said, that's some decent damage going. We're going to go ahead and pass turn. It does kind of suck, because it does partially neuter Arietta, because it is a commander damage deck. I'll need to reevaluate, because I don't know if I have enough enchantment removal, because that is a thing. That's normally people would basically just remove the commander by blowing it up with some sort of destruction or exile. You're not really, most people aren't going to do too much that's enchantment, like, Capture Sphere or Imprison in the Moon. Like, those are kind of semi-common, but not really. I play them, but I don't see too many other people playing them. So we're going to untap, upkeep, draw. I'm going to gain a life, and we're going to make you lose a life. Going to play the Deserted Beach. It comes in tapped anyway. Now the question is, I didn't draw any extra cards. Did I? No, that was look at it and put on the field. That doesn't count. They didn't draw anything extra. Okay, so actually what I'm going to do is tap 1, 2, 3, 4. We've seen this before. Creeping Chill. It's going to deal 3 damage to each opponent, and I'm going to gain 3 life. There's really no point in swinging in. I mean, I could swing 3 damage in there, well 6 really, if I wanted to leave myself open, and I do have a lot of life, so the crackback isn't actually too much of a concern. However, they're duking it out. If I go swinging in there, it would be stupid for them to change directions here, because then they would, again, they don't have to worry about the commander there, so they might change directions, but they would be foolish to then not leave up the commander for blocking. Nothing's really going to get through over there, and she wants her creatures to die, so she would definitely block with some of them. I think we're just going to go ahead and swing Notion Thief at you just because. 1, 2, 3. It feels a little dogpiley, but at the same time, you are doing like 15 damage per swing minimum. It's going to go up, so I don't think leaving you alive too long is a good idea. We're going to pass turn. I feel like I'm breezing through things a little bit, so I'm hoping I'm not messing something major up. I don't think I am. I'm going to play the swamp I just drew. 1, 2, 3, 4, and play Spiteful Squad, a 0/0 death touch. When it enters, it gets 2 +1/+1 counters, and when it dies, you can put those counters onto target creature you control. I don't think that would really be affected by doing an additional time, so this card should probably come out of this deck, and it comes in tap. I don't have anything, as I said, that can really... do I have? Nope. Yeah, so I can do that. We will go ahead and tap 2, and tap that to ping each opponent for 1 life, and I gain 1 life. Then I'm going to move to combat. I feel swinging here isn't necessary anymore. probably swing the 5 at you, just because we need to start whittling you down if we're going to have any chance. Now, what do you think? Is that the right play, or should I swing that 5 at you or there in order to get them just out of the game and speed it up? Going to pass turn, untap, that doesn't untap, upkeep, draw, play a plains for turn, 1, 2, 3, 4 to play Angelic Accord. If I gain 4 or more life this turn, or at the beginning of my end step, if I gained 4 or more life, I make a 4/4 angel. Regrettably, since I don't have a lot of enchantments out, that's not going to be a thing. I think what we will do, though, is we are going to go 1, 2, 3 and put Sigarda's Imprisonment onto you. Enchanted creature can't attack or block. I can pay 5 and exile enchanted creature, create a blood token. Unfortunately, we can't do anything about that capture sphere, so we're going to move to our end step, but that doesn't stop the ability, thankfully, so everyone's going to take 2 damage, and I'm going to gain 2 life. Pass turn. Untap, upkeep trigger, goes to 3, goes to 4. Draw a card. Now, I guess now that I think about it, I just realized that these characters should be focusing on her because of Approach of the Second Sun, and I don't know where it is, but it's probably getting close. I think we're probably halfway there. I haven't been paying attention to how many turns, but it's probably been 2 to 3. Now, we know they can't speed up the drawing spell because of Notion Thief, but still, all it takes is they just have to survive long enough to draw it. They got more than enough mana to play it again, boom, they win. So I will have to start focusing over there. It's just the smart play if you don't want them to just surprise win. 1, 2, 3, and then 2 blue. Oh, no, actually, sorry. 2 and 2 blue to play Whirler Rogue. When it enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature tokens. I can tap 2 untapped artifacts I control. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. Unfortunately, these all come in tapped anyway. But as I said, I still have enough mana to do the thing. Julie, do the thing. These are now creatures. They are incredibly big. This is a 9/9, and this is an 8/8. We're going to go ahead and move to combat, swinging them both at you for the KO. Trigger about the attack. It is not a land, so it stays there. You have no flying. You have no cards in hand. There's nothing you can do. So as I said, 9, 8, 17. You're going to take 17. Yep, -2. Wow. Is it next? Oh, no, it is not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more turns before Approach of the Second Sun. So it wasn't that close. KO right there by Vehicles. Vehicles isn't doing too bad. Again, a little slow. I need more vehicles out, but I could only have crewed 1 more and swung with the commander, so it's not a giant deal. It is unfortunate that I don't have any mana rocks, because that's part of it. Temple of the False Gods is great, and if I got the 3rd Urza power, the Urza land, that would have doubled the mana for those ones. That would have been nice, but I don't really have any other vehicles in my hand. That's all we can do, however, and we left up a blocker flying, so we're going to pass turn. However, this goes away, so now that bad boy can swing again. We're going to untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Who do I want to ping? Probably you, because you are doing some stuff there. Going to tap for a white, a blue, and a black, and play Void Rend on your commander. Can't be countered, destroy target non-land permanent. That's going to cost 2 more to cast, and you also now have no flyers, so that does incentivize them to swing in. Let's see. I don't necessarily want to swing both of these, because even though they have little creatures, they could just swing everything little on the ground and do some damage. So I believe I'm going to go ahead and just swing the Notion Thief for 3. 1, 2, 3. Now I have 4 mana left. Is there anything really good that I can do for 4 mana? You know what? Let's go ahead. Why not? It's a bit of a waste of it, but we're going to tap 2 blue and then 2 others for X. Pull from tomorrow. Draw X cards, then discard a card. So I'm going to draw 2 and discard a card. 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm going to gain 2, 1, 2. Now I get to discard a card. I'm going to go ahead and discard Time Sieve because we've seen that before, and I don't have the other piece of the combo in here anyway. Let's see, I didn't play a land for turn. So I'm going to play Sky Cloud Expanse. It does not come in tapped anymore, but it can't actually tap for anything right now anyway. I will pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw, play a swamp. Yeah, darn. We'll tap 2 and tap this for each opponent to lose a life. Oops, wrong way. And then I gain a life. I'm going to tap 1, 2, 3 and play Drum Bellower, a 2/1 flyer. Untap all creatures you control during each other player's untap step. So that's really cool. So in that sense, I should, of course, swing the board. Definitely going to swing. Oh, you're wide open. So yeah, of course. We will send Doom Dissenter at you for 1 measly damage. I'm then going to send these 3 at you. So you have no blockers. Doom Dissenter is going to deal 1 damage to you. Kaboom. The Gons. Now, you do not have a flyer, so you're definitely going to take the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you've got a 2/2 and a 2/2 on the ground. If you block, you destroy one of them. Yeah, I will block the Spiteful Squad. It'll destroy it. The counters will go on to something else, but guess what? They're going to go on to Junji. And whenever an artifact or creature I control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life, but that's going to trigger twice. 1, 2. Because as long as a creature dying triggers a permanent I control, not a creature. So that's permanent, that triggers twice. Awesome. So those are both dead, so we're going to go ahead and pass turn. Over here, we're going to untap upkeep, but at the upkeep, we get to untap all of our stuff. Well, our creatures, rather. So then I'm going to draw a card. You're obviously going to take the damage. I'm going to gain the life, because we want to start doing some things. So we're going to tap 3 blue mana, then tap that into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to play Universal Surveillance for 5. It does have Improvise, which I think is your creature. No, that's... I don't remember what Improvise. So I get to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to take 5 damage, and I'm going to gain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that negates the damage from the thing. Cool. I'm going to play second main phase. Well, I'm still in first main phase, sorry. We're going to play Sunken Hollow for turn. It comes to the end of the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. I do. And guess what? I'm going to tap that for a Soul Ring. And that allows me to have just 7 cards in hand, so I don't have to discard down. Excellent. I'm annoyed that I'm not getting any of my no maximum hand size cards, because there's at least 4 or 5 in here, and it doesn't sound like much, but because I'm drawing cards, it should be. Although, to be fair, haven't been drawing that many cards, really, which is very frustrating in my card draw deck. I don't know. I'm going to have to do some research to figure out, I don't know, what better cards to put in here. It's so weird. You would think card draw would just draw you into more card draw, and it would just continue that was the idea. Clearly that is not how this is going to function. I can't swing into you, but it's not that big of a deal, so we're going to go ahead and pass. Untap over here, upkeep, draw, play a snow-covered swamp, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 land away from playing the card in my hand that could help things, slightly. Okay, we're obviously going to swing with that. Keep that for sure. Yeah, I guess we're going to tap 2 and tap that to first gain a life and have you lose a life. Then we're going to move to combat and swing these 3 at you. So you're going to take 7 for sure. Then you've got a 1/1 and a 2/2 on the ground. Blocking with Quiznos. Which one's the worst? I think we might actually want to destroy the Blister Grub. Oh, this has Swamp Walk, so this can't be blocked. Oh, so okay, so that's going to be 2 more damage. I think I may have missed that last time. Well, I did miss it last time. And I did swing him at you. So I guess we'll take another 2, because it couldn't be blocked. So you can either take 1 damage or kill it and then create 2 2/2 zombies. So obviously you're just going to take the extra damage. There's no end step things. Nothing went to the graveyard this turn. So we're going to pass. Going to untap and untap over here. Man. Drum Bellower is just a good card. Flying. Untap all creatures you control during each other player's untap step. I don't know why I don't have that in more white decks. So I'm going to draw a card for turn. You're going to take a damage. I'm going to gain a life. Yeah, what sucks is I really don't have any card draw. So we'll play Port Town. Comes in tapped because I don't have anything else. We'll tap 1, 2, 3 to play Worn Powerstone, which comes in tapped. Stop jumping around. Dang yous. 1, 2, 3 to play Alloy Myrrh. It's a 2/2 that taps for 1 mana of any color. Then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we will tap 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Triskaidekaphobia. At the beginning of my upkeep, I get to choose one. Each player with exactly 13 life loses the game, and each player gains a life, or whoever has 13 life loses the game, and each player takes the damage. Loses the life, whatever. They are different, but I'm just glossing over that right. 1 open mana, nothing I can do. Certainly not going to try and swing in. That is unfortunate. But hey, I mean, I wouldn't be upset if Tesso wins. Gonna go ahead and pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. It's a Plains, which is good and bad because that means we have enough mana to do something we've seen before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In Garruk's Wake. Destroy all creatures you don't control and all planeswalkers you don't control. Boom, boom, boom. This now costs 2 more to cast, and we can now swing in with everything. This, of course, there's no point in swinging that because it doesn't have any damage. But everything else, so that's going to be 1, 2. I guess we'll do the commander damage just in case. Then another 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another 5. All right. Hey, oh no. Oh no. I have exactly 13 life. Oh no. I mean, I guess that's just it. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding? Hang on. Let me make sure this worked. Yeah, okay. Because I was worried, like, making sure it was going to the right place. So yes, player 4 did 2 damage to me. That is hilarious. I don't like it, but it's hilarious. This person is laughing and pointing. This person is flipping out and flipping the table. Oh, okay, pass turn. No, you can't pass turn. No. Untap, upkeep, trigger. Each player with exactly 13 life loses the game. And then you're going to lose a life anyway. Oh my gosh, that is too funny. That is insane. How does that happen? Backfire extravaganza. I can't even. I can't even. That's just too stupid. But all right, okay. Tessa Karlov is your winner. I am glad to see her win, but that is just a ridiculous way for it to happen. All right, so I hope you enjoyed watching these decks go at it. Like I said, they all need work, clearly. It's a little annoying for this one, really. I don't see how something so simple could not work. It should have been drawing cards every turn. Like every turn, I should have been dropping some sort of card draw spell to just get extra pings in there. And then there are cards in there that say if I draw one card, I draw two instead. I didn't get to play it yet, but I had Wound Reflection. At the beginning of each end step, each opponent loses life equal to the life they lost that turn. Ping not everybody, ping someone for like 2-3 damage on the draw, then they take another 2-3 damage at the end step, and it's each end step. So if they hit each other, they take even more damage. So, but all right, that's funny. We'll end it there with the ridiculous win. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you stick around to watch other stuff, and I will see you next time.